Well, hey everybody, it is Monday. I wanted to say it is Friday. Yeah, it's been a pretty wild day today, but that's all right. I'm logged off work now and I'm just ready to kick back and relax with my friends. And I've got some interesting things to share with you. A couple of things. One, if you haven't watched it already, I did a video about cooking my first ribeye, and I cooked it in my Ninja Foodie Grill. And it turned out, well, I'm not going to tell you how it turned out. If you saw my burger one, you might wonder how it turned out because my burgers were a disaster. So if you want to see something funny, you can watch the first one, the video about the burgers. But if you're here, just let me know that you're here. Just come in the chat and say hello. We're just here to chill and relax. I've got some interesting results from a search. I was just curious about something, so I decided I was going to search, and the search results are really odd. So I'm going to give people a couple minutes to get in, and then when you see the search results, you'll probably be about as perplexed as I am, because I'm just like, really? Why would you give me this when I asked about that? So it's very, very bizarre. So anyway, hey, y'all come on in, kick back, relax. The work day is over, or at least it is for me. I mean, I guess you could be doing a little bit of internet browsing while you're waiting for 5 o'clock somewhere. So anyway, just come on, join in. I guess what I can do is I can go ahead and start talking about this. This is just a really strange thing. So I was curious. I was thinking about doing a video about heavy metal musicians who are carnivore, or who are at least heavy meat based. And I'm going to see if I can get this to work right. I don't know how it's going to do, but I want to share my screen because this is just very strange. Let me get back to, I know this is awkward. I've never done this screen share thing before. So let's see. Let me give it a try. All right. I don't know. Is this working or not? It might be. It might not be. Oh, crud. I want to. All right. I have a question. Crap. I should have Googled this before, but based on Googling things, I'm not sure what kind of a results I would have gotten. Let's see if I can move this over and then maybe see if I can. Yeah, this is very professional, y'all. Okay. But look, what I'm wanting to do is I'm wanting to share my screen, because basically what happened is I Googled about rock and heavy metal musicians who eat meat. And guess what I got? My search results have such headlines as "Taste the Unsacred Flesh, Veganism and Heavy Metal." I'm like, really? Or 10 vegan and vegetarian metal bands. 18 vegan musicians, singers, rappers, and heavy metal stars. And then I got a Reddit page, Vegan and Metal. Why every metal hardcore fan should consider going vegan. Yes, these are the search results I got. And here's what I put into the search engine. Heavy metal musicians who eat meat. Now, here's what I'm like, man, this is crazy. because for one thing, it makes me wonder where all the rebels are. I mean, if you're going to be in heavy metal, I mean, aren't you supposed to be the rebels? Aren't you supposed to be the people who break the trends and who go against the establishment? Or maybe they're all so old now that they're a part of the establishment. I don't know. Um, there's one about Kirk Hammett. Is Kirk Hammett vegan? Oh my gosh, it's just crazy. But here's the thing. That is not what I searched on. So my question is this: are there just no metal musicians who eat meat anymore? Or is there a more nefarious thing going on here with these search results? Because I just found this very odd. And I apologize. I wanted to share my screen, but I don't guess I'm sharing it. I can't tell if I am or not, and I don't. So who knows what the screen looks like. I'm sorry. Look, you guys are my guinea pigs. So I appreciate you being here. So does anybody have anything interesting you want to talk about? Anything that, let's see here. We've got Creative Soil from Oklahoma. All right. Glad to see you. We got the low carbist here this evening. Good to see you too. Enjoying those sardines. All right. We have My Weight Loss Life from Iowa. All right. Let's see. Nothing. Yes, I agree. Yeah. Can you imagine? Like Manowar, for example, holding up carrots. No, you're supposed to be holding up a big turkey leg or something, or a big raw steak. I don't know. It's supposed to be just some kind of raw meat, and you're just supposed to be going, ah. This is just craziness. Now, maybe I need to do maybe I need to use a different search engine. I don't know. I just use this one because it's there. But it's very, very, very weird that you would do a search saying heavy metal musicians who eat meat. It doesn't even say eat meat only. It just says who eat meat. And I figured there'd be a couple of headlines, like, I don't know, Paul Stanley goes carnivore or something. Not that Kiss isn't necessarily heavy metal, but they are rock, and they were trendsetters back in the day. But I'm just like, or somebody like Slipknot, certainly, or Megadeth. Man, certainly some of those people got to eat meat. But then I'm like, well, they're my age or older. Maybe they're part of the establishment, and they're not. You know what I'm saying? They're not bucking the establishment. I don't know. It's just disappointing. Just disappointing. Hey, if you just got here, that's okay. I just started. So you don't have to leave. You can still hang out. Yeah, I just started like 5 minutes ago. I know it's a weird time to start, but I started after I logged off. And hey, who's your carnivore? Yeah, who's your carnivore? Who's your daddy? So, yeah, I don't know. It was just really, really very strange. Yes, you don't have to go anywhere. I just started. Look, I don't ever start anything or do anything like anybody else does it because I'm a rebel. I'm not like these heavy metal musicians who have gone vegan. Apparently all of them have, because I can't find any in the search results of anybody who even eats meat now. So this is just craziness. I don't know. I must be in an alternate universe. Apparently Geezer Butler is a long-term vegan. Yeah, apparently so. This is just insane. So, okay, you took your first ice bath the other day. Yeah, that it was the other day. So how many of you had since then? How many have you had since the other day? Ah, and yes to the sardines. I know, man. I can't believe I like them as much as I do. I did not think I would. And I ate a can. Actually, I ate a can of sardines kind of as a late snack. I had a couple of burger patties for lunch and a couple pieces of bacon. And so, yeah. Ace Frehley is playing at a club near you next month. I hope he's not too drunk to perform. And I don't mean to be ugly, but I went and saw back in the mid 90s. I'll have to share my shirt with you. Apparently it's worth some money, but Ace Frehley and Peter Criss did a Bad Boys tour back in the mid 90s. I think it was 95, but I'm not 100% sure about that. It could have been 94. It was like somewhere around 94, 95. They blend together after you get old. So anyway, so Peter Criss comes out and his performance was phenomenal. It was great. I loved it. I enjoyed it. He had a lot of original material that wasn't a part of Kiss, and it was he's very talented. However, Ace Frehley gets out there and like he just butchers it. I got so mad. I mean, after like 3 songs, I told my ex-husband, I was like, let's go. I was mad. I was just mad. And I love Ace Frehley. He's got so much talent and stuff, but man, don't get so plastered that you can't do what people paid to see you do. Anyway, I'm going off on a rant, but yeah. So I love Ace Frehley. I do. I just, that just really made me mad. And so you started with cold showers. So have you? Okay, Ace is supposed to be clean now. I hope he is, because like I said, he's so talented. And honestly, Kiss is just, to me, is not completely Kiss without the original members. That's just how I remember them. And I got to see them several times with the original band, once back in the day in 1979. And then I saw them a couple times when they toured in the mid 90s, when they had their reunions, like the Psycho Circus and all that. And so I love the original Kiss. But speaking of Kiss, okay, here's something that happened too. They're coming to Bridgestone Arena here in Nashville, and tickets went on sale. I believe it was like back in April. And I hem-hawed around because I honestly don't have a problem with spending money on concert tickets. That's one thing that I just live for. I love the experience. I love music. And I will shell out a lot of money. I will shell out a lot of money to get really good seats. So my son and I went and saw them back in 2019, right before the illness that shall not be named. And I mean, I bought this whole VIP experience and it was phenomenal. We had the best time. Unlimited food, unlimited drinks. We had a separate entrance to get into the venue, so we didn't have to stand in line. I mean, there was just all this whole experience. The only thing is we didn't meet the band members, but that was okay. I didn't do that piece of it, but in terms of like excellent seats and all of that. So it was a fabulous experience. Well, fast forward, and this tour, now they're doing another like farewell tour. And I'm like, well, wait a minute. I thought you had one in 2019. And I hem-hawed around. I was like, am I going to get tickets? I don't know. And I was like, to have the experience that I want to have, it's going to be the GDP of a small country. I just don't know if I can fork over that. And I hem-hawed around and I decided not to get the tickets. Didn't get them. So my son texted me yesterday. He said, I have a surprise for you. And I said, oh, really? What is it? And he said, we're going to see Kiss and we've got my company's box seats. And I was like, dude, what? Are you serious? So the universe knew what it was doing, okay, when I hem-hawed around and then I decided not to get the tickets. And I was disappointed because the concert is coming up on the 23rd. And I was like, oh man, I'm going to miss Kiss. And that's just unheard of for me to do that. I always go see Kiss when they come to town. And I was just, there was a part of me that was disappointed that I wasn't going. And then, so my son, oh my gosh. Yeah. I can't believe it. It's incredible. So I'm excited about that, and I'll have to tell you all about it. So, oh yes, spent money. Yes, I have to. I have to. The thing is, like now, like when I was younger, and this may be true of a lot of people, I used to think stuff was the thing. Nice clothes. And don't get me wrong, I mean, I don't want to dress like a slouch or anything. At the same time, though, like clothes, brand names. And I grew up pretty poor, so that was probably part of the reason why I did that. I bought expensive makeup. I bought just things, stuff, gadgets. Oh, I used to have like the up to the second cell phone. Like when the smartphones first came out, I had an Evo, and then I upgraded to the Evo 3D because I'm an Android girl. I'm sorry. I love you iPhone people, but I don't love iPhones. I have one for work and I can't seem to get the hang of it. Anyway, so stuff used to be the big thing for me. Now, I mean, I've made sure that I save a lot, like have savings, and I save in retirement and all that stuff. So my indulgence is concerts. And I think concerts and Carnivore keep me going. They keep me young. And I am not going to ever become a part of the establishment. I'm not going to ever become vegan. So this just bothers me that I cannot find any heavy metal or rock artists who admit that they eat meat, or else the search results are being altered. I don't know. What do you think? I feel like maybe it's a conspiracy theory. Conspiracy. I don't know. It's just very, very strange to me. So, does anybody have anything that they want to talk about? Any experiences they want to share? Anything that they want to vent about? Today was not a bad day for me in terms of work. Just busy. And then, of course, I had something come up about 15 minutes before I had to log off. Luckily, it was not too terribly difficult, and I didn't have to stay very much over. But I was wanting to, I was just ready to call it a day, and that happens sometimes. So in the chat, come on, y'all. I'm talking to myself here. I feel like I am. Do you think that it's, have you all been able to do any searching, and have you gotten any different, you have an interview soon, a job interview, will break a leg. Oh my gosh. What did I eat today? I ate a couple of burger patties. I ate a couple of pieces of bacon. Let's see. I had a little bit of beef jerky, like as a snack. It's a clean beef jerky that I got from the farmer's market. And now it's gone, though. I don't have any more left. And I ate sardines. And I may end up having a couple more burger patties. I have not eaten that much today. Oh, I had a couple hard-boiled eggs earlier. A couple of hard-boiled eggs. And that's not a whole lot of food, though. I know. I don't know what my problem is because, oh gosh, let's see. We got, a 5-day fast. Wow. Now, as little as I eat, I don't know if I could go 5 days. Maybe I could. I'd probably shrivel up and blow away. And then B Dog has jury duty tomorrow. That's always fun. And they don't pay you anything. I mean, they don't pay you squat. I am fortunate in that my employer will pay us for going to jury duty. But then you have to sign over the little pittance that they pay you for being there. And I understand it's a whole constitutional right, and you are participating in the republic and that sort of thing. It's just still, in a sense, it's kind of annoying because it's like, man, I've got to be off work a week or two. I mean, if you get into a trial, you can be off work for who knows how long. And yes, creative soil. Okay, just Googled the same thing, got the same results. Okay, I'm wondering perhaps about other search engines, what their results might be. I'm not going to do that right now. If I knew how to share my screen, I need to get somebody to be my guinea pig. And oh, wait a minute, I've got present. Okay, y'all, I'm going to do this. So we'll see how it works. Share screen. Oh boy. Sharing screen is easiest with 2 monitors. Well, I have 2 monitors and it works best on a good computer. Well, I would say I have a pretty good computer. So, okay. Oh, fantastic. Let's see. Yes, here we go. All right. There it is. I don't know if how well you can see that. Let me see if I can. Oh boy, I'm going to do the full screen layout, and then I may not, you may not see me again, but see, there it is. There it is. Now, is that crazy or what? That is crazy. And then you go down. I mean, all it is about yeah. Imagine being on a jury. Oh my God, I know. And okay, the last time I went to jury duty, I almost was picked because they interviewed me twice. There was a very high profile divorce between 2 attorneys, and normally divorces don't go to a jury, but this particular one was so nasty, and they were both very high powered attorneys. And like the news media was all over this. And so I got interviewed for this, or they interviewed me, and then I went back for like a second one. Like they called me into this big long conference table, and all these attorneys and people were there, and they were just asking all these questions. It was just crazy. And so I step out of there, and the news media like was just on me like stink on poop. And it was pretty wild. They did not pick me, and a part of me kind of wanted to be picked. But then a part of me is so glad that I am not. And so now I'm going to, I see how to do this. Okay, I'm learning, you guys. I'm sorry that you were my guinea pigs. But anyway, that was the search results. That's just nuts. Just nuts. So, yeah, I'm going to try. I am going to try another search engine. Let me see if I can. I don't know how this is going to work. Well, let's see here. Oh. Well, yeah, that's true. I guess I would have to download it, wouldn't I? Sorry, you guys. Okay. That's crazy. Yeah, I should have it already, but I don't. I don't know why, because I honestly, the one search engine, we all know how biased they are. Uh, download started. Well, where is my download? Okay, select install. I don't know. I'm not going to mess with that right this second, but it'll be interesting to see what search results we get from somewhere else. Uh, anyway, stop sharing that. All right. So, do I miss any particular foods? I don't. Well, okay. I do have one thing that I miss, and I don't miss it all the time, but I miss it if at certain times, and that is potatoes, mashed potatoes, especially. Although I like all kinds of potatoes. Um, anytime, like if it's Easter, Thanksgiving, or just like if I happen to go to like a friend's house or something for dinner and they happen to have mashed potatoes, everybody knows that I eat meat, but I mean, I certainly don't expect them to not serve potatoes or something just because I might be tempted by them. So, but oh yeah, I miss potatoes. Like I said, I don't keep any of that stuff in the house, so I'm not tempted, because if I had it, I would eat it. And another thing that is hard to pass up, and I did not pass up last Wednesday, was we went to a work function. I think it was a meeting and everybody was supposed to bring something. Those are always fun, right? And so I took a charcuterie tray, and there was other stuff there, and there was cheesecake. And cheesecake, oh gosh, man, I love cheesecake. And this particular cheesecake, it had different kinds. Some of it had the cherry topping, and some of it had, so it all, they just had various types. Some of it had the chocolate dripped on it. I did eat a small piece of cheesecake, and it was just plain. It didn't have any of the extra stuff on it. And it wasn't a very big piece, but I did have some. And it was good. I mean, I know that sometimes people will say that the sweet stuff doesn't taste the same to them. And I don't crave sweet stuff. It's not like, I don't know how to explain it. But it's just that um, for me, it tasted like cheesecake. There was nothing wrong with the taste of it. I liked it, but I did eat just a small piece, and that was all I had. And the low carb says I had a baked potato once over the summer when went out eating with friends. Not sure if it was because I wanted it or because I already felt awkward. Yeah, for me, having a potato, especially mashed potatoes, like I said, I mean, it's because I want them. Nobody has to peer pressure me into eating potatoes. I will just eat them because I like them. But I haven't. I mean, that I'm pretty, generally speaking, I'm pretty strict. Or I should say, not disciplined. What was the word that we used the other? Consistent. I'm very consistent about following the carnivore lifestyle. So I think about how good I feel now. I think about, I know that those carbs would just jack my sugar up. So in general, I'm consistent about not eating that stuff. However, um, I'm not perfect. None of us are. And I saw that cheesecake, and there was just something inside me that said, I want it. And I had a small piece, and it was good. And then they offered, okay, now talk about, I think I should get a medal for this, okay? I won't get a medal for it, but I should. I was actually offered the leftover cheesecake. to take it home with me because there was a lot left and I did not take it. I declined because I know that while one can have a piece of cheesecake, if you take a whole cheesecake home, if you're me, maybe you're sitting down and watching a movie or I don't know, just kick back, maybe watching some YouTube or I don't know, just whatever you happen to be doing. You're like, you know what? I've got cheesecake in the fridge. I think I'll have some cheesecake. And the next thing you know, that cheesecake is gone. I generally am not like a binging type of a person, and I'm generally not a sweets kind of person. But if I've got that cheesecake in the refrigerator, then I will eat it. And so, yes, it is one of my faves too. And I have not tried the keto cheesecake, and I need to do that. I am trying to branch out and learn how to cook some things. I'm not going to say that I'm a bad cook. I'm going to say that up until now, I have never really enjoyed cooking. When I was growing up, my mother's kitchen was her kitchen. That was it. She didn't want anybody else in there. And that was fine because I was a teenager or a kid and then gradually into my teens. And I wasn't exactly jumping up and down to help her cook anyway. But I had friends whose mother would show them how to cook. They would be in there together. They would help, all that stuff. My mother didn't want me in there helping. So I really never learned to cook. And then after I got married, like I could cook simple things. I could cook some stuff, but like my ex-husband cooked the meat. I mean, we had smokers and grills and he cooked a lot of meat. And then plus we lived down the same driveway from his parents. And so we lived in the farmhouse that had been his grandmother's. So we were like in a very short walking distance from his parents, and his mother would cook these big Southern meals that were like, they were just phenomenal from scratch. Oh yeah. We're talking mashed potatoes. Oh yeah. You got mashed potatoes, but these mashed potatoes these did not come out of a box. I mean, these were potatoes that you bought and you boiled down and mashed them and oh yeah, all that good stuff. And she would cook like that. So we ended up going to her house quite a bit for dinner too. So I just have never been much of a cook. So I am resolving now to change that. I think that would help me a lot in terms of being carnivore and getting more nutrition. Food just in most ways, I mean, I know if you heard me talking about the potatoes, for example, and the cheesecake, you would think, oh yeah, she's a foodie. No, I'm really not. There's not a lot of food that I don't stop and just think about food and just daydream about it or whatever. And like, oh, what am I going to have for dinner? That kind of thing. So, I was the worst cook in the world until 2020. And I started keto in 2021. I can make all kinds of keto desserts, which now I'm trying to veer away from. Well, that's a thing. And see, my daughter, my daughter is low carb. And of course, she has my grandson. And he's a teenager now. And it's easy for me to think, oh, well, she should do this or she should do that. I understand that when it's you, it's not. So I don't ever want to say you should do this because it's not that simple. It's never that simple. But she is such a good cook. She did not inherit that from me. It's a recessive gene. It came from, my mother was an excellent cook. She just didn't want anybody else in the kitchen. And then her paternal grandmother was, the phenomenal Southern cook, your stereotypical Southern cook. So those two combined, the recessive genes met in the middle, and there's my daughter. And actually, my son is an excellent cook too. He can now his specialty is meats. He can, oh my gosh, he can smoke some meats. Matter of fact, I've still got some smoked bologna that he's got in his freezer that I need to get from him. From when my friend back in December of last year, when my friend had given me all that meat and kind of started me on my carnivore journey. It was actually my neighbor, but he's my friend too. But I've got a big giant chub of bologna that he smoked. And so my son's got it in his freezer. I actually haven't asked him. My son may have eaten it. I wouldn't get mad if he did because that bologna was really good. I had 2 chubs of bologna, and well, I had one, and then he actually gave me another one. And so my son had given me part of the first one, and then the second one I didn't have enough room for in my freezer or in my refrigerator either. And so I told him to just keep it in his freezer. So he may have eaten it. I don't know. And I'm not going to be mad if he did. The sweetest thing I can keep around is Redmond's Relight Boost, which I decided to try because it was on sale. You know, sometimes you find the best stuff on sale. Nothing wrong with that. When I was a child, my mother taught me to cook, and from about the age of 10, I had to cook once a week for dinner and generally made pancakes, eggs, and bacon on Sunday. Yep, and that's honestly, especially living in the South, that was the way it was with my friends. They had to help cook, and they were very skilled. They were taught and they were skilled, and a part of me, a big part of me wishes that she had taught me, because I think I would have had more confidence. And then it was just learned helplessness in a sense, because once I got married and then we lived so close to my in-laws, and my in-laws were great people. I loved them dearly, and I stayed in touch with them even after I got divorced. They were just amazing people. But it was learned, like a learned helplessness in a sense. It was like I didn't have to cook, so I didn't. Not that much. I cooked some, but there were other things. There were other reasons why I didn't. And I didn't. I was like, well, I don't necessarily have to cook, so I'm not going to. And I didn't. Oh, Susan loves to cook, especially baking, and still cooks carbs for her son. I just don't eat any. Yep. Did not cheat at the wedding. One of the main dishes was chicken coated in Parmesan, no gluten. Oh, wow. That is fantastic. Woo. All right. Good job, Susan. Good job. Good job. That's hard to do, man, if you're at a social gathering. But here's the thing. You probably had some purse bacon, or maybe some boiled eggs or something like that. Or maybe you just ate well. Or maybe you were just like, I don't want that. Any number of things. I'm just like, now I'm just assuming you think stuff. Hey, happy Monday. I know. And Nicole, I'm looking forward to the Sunday before Halloween, because we are going to have so much fun. Yes, we are. We are going to do a special Halloween stream the Sunday before Halloween, and I am looking forward to it, man. Halloween is, man, look. I was talking to my daughter this weekend. We actually were shopping, and we saw some different Halloween decorations and stuff, and I bought a couple of things. And I remember talking to her. I was talking to her about when she was little, her and my niece. And I would dress them up and take them trick-or-treating. And I dressed up too. And I enjoyed Halloween just as much as they did, if not more. Halloween is just awesome. I love the dressing up. I don't know if it's role playing exactly or whatever. But I remember I had my first job at the Crystal, and so I dressed up in this like zombie woman type costume and had the liquid latex on my face. That's just my go-to. I've dressed in that same type of costume for years. And I just love it. But then you put the liquid latex to where it looks like it's dead skin on your face and all that stuff. So I dressed up like that. And there was this little boy who used to come in every Friday evening with his grandmother. And so I said, "Well, little boy, how are you?" And he says, "Carrie, is that you?" And I said, "No, this is not Carrie. This is Skeletor's wife." This was in like 1984. So, when Skeletor, He-Man and all that stuff was popular. And I said, "Yes, I am Skeletor's wife." And he says, "Skeletor doesn't have a wife." And I said, "Oh, yes, he does. He just only lets me out on Halloween." So I love it, man. I love Halloween. I've always loved it. And Susan says, "I had a large bowl of scrambled eggs, ground pork, and butter for lunch. Only drank water." Fabulous, fabulous, fabulous. Dressed even looser, got loads of compliments, and you danced. Well, I don't know. Dancing. I don't know. I dance sometimes, but are you dancing like boogieing, or is it like slow dancing, or was it just like for me? Oh, I feel so awkward every time I slow dance. It's just strange. But I haven't slow danced since I've been carnivore, so I wonder if I would still feel awkward. I may not. I may not care. I may not care. And yes, Halloween is absolutely my favorite holiday. I just love it. And I understand that Christmas is like the most meaningful and all of that. And I totally get all of that. But at the same time, man, Halloween was just my thing. I loved it ever since I was a little kid. I would look so forward to it. I would look forward to Halloween about more than Christmas. Yeah, Crystal. Gut bombs. Oh, yes. Hey, one thing I could cook was Crystal's chili. I knew the recipe. And no, it did not. At that time, now I don't know how Crystal makes their chili now. It could come in a big, but back then there was a recipe to the chili. And I used to make the Crystal chili, and I adapted it and I made it myself for at home. Now, for years, oddly enough, for years I have not put beans in my chili. I prefer my chili without beans. And come to find out from watching the Food Network, I wasn't the one watching it. There were other people in my household, because cooking there again doesn't interest me that much, or didn't at the time. However, I found out that competition chili does not have beans in it. So I was like, see, I've been making chili right all this time. Yes. Hey, Nicole. Oh, no slow dancing. Dance with my friends and in a group. Yeah. It's funny now. I'm almost, or at least typically, I'm trying to think if I've, at concerts, but that's kind of different. I mean, everybody's up and moving around and shaking and whatever. So I don't really look at concerts as like dancing. And I haven't been to like any place like, oh gosh, like downtown Nashville, for example. They've got all those clubs and honky tonks and stuff. And I haven't been to any of those in a long time. And of course, you can have some liquid courage, and you can get out there and dance with some of that. But I don't consume liquid courage very often. I'm not going to say that I don't ever drink, but it is very rare that I do. So we'll have to, I don't know. I'm going to have to just maybe see if I can get some friends to brave the wilds downtown or something and just see how I would react about dancing without any liquid courage. That's interesting because a lot of things now that I'm carnivore don't bother me anymore, things that used to make me nervous. And so I say that, I would be awkward, slow dancing, but I haven't slow danced in forever, in a long time. So I don't know. Interesting. My neighbor is a Wiccan. He goes way out for Halloween and doesn't do anything for Christmas. I do for Christmas too. I love Halloween. It is. I'm not gonna say I like it more than Christmas, but I tell you what, I love it a lot, and I know, and I love Jesus, and I'm a Christian. There was just something about Halloween that I loved, but I do decorate quite a bit for Christmas. Let's see. Dance challenge for December. Yeah. Oh, and speaking of challenges, I do have something coming in the mail. I was expecting it to be here. Well, actually, it's coming from Amazon. I was expecting it to be here before now, so I'm not sure. Of course, technically, the day's not over until 11:59, 59, 59, 59. But anyways, so there's still time for it to arrive. But I'm getting a hula hoop. And me and Christy from Meeting Wellness are going to do a hula hoop challenge. So I was going to show you the hula hoop, but it hasn't gotten here yet. You have a friend who's Wiccan also. But you know what? I don't necessarily think that if you're a Wiccan, I don't think that necessarily means you don't believe in God. I just think it means that you believe in those other things. But I could be wrong because I've actually read up on some of that. And mostly it's like a connection with nature from what I gather. It's like Wiccans don't worship the devil and stuff. So I don't know. Yes, dancing is and it's a fun way to get steps in. And I will tell you, I dance a lot when I'm by myself. Like if I'm cleaning house and I have music turned up and, I'll be dancing with the mop or something. I do that. Yes, we did. We ordered it. We did. We both ordered them. Okay. How are we going to manage that? Holding on to the air. Oh, fantastic. Fantastic. Let's see what else we got going on here. Yes. And that is a good way to get your steps in. And speaking of which, okay, the joke's on me about the Fitbit that didn't charge. I said to my daughter, hey, you didn't give me the charger to the Fitbit. And she says, yeah, I did. That's what I used when I charged it. Now, I swear, I thought she used a regular charger, but then that goes to show you. And I said, well, it wasn't in the bag with all the other wristbands. And she said, well, no, I didn't put it in the bag with the other wristbands. I stuck it in the side pocket in your duffel bag. I was like, oh, okay. So sure enough, I look in there and there's the charger for the Fitbit. So the Fitbit is on the charger. I actually put it on the charger yesterday and I just now thought about taking it off. and a part of me doesn't want to put the Fitbit back on because I am not walking near as much. So I will be getting more activity though with the hula hoop. See, I've got space in here. So that's what I'm going to do. Because I'm not getting my walk in. I didn't even go this morning. Okay. This is pathetic. but it was dark and I didn't have time to go for a walk. And I log in at 7. So I didn't go walk. I didn't go for my walk. So I confess about that too. However, I am looking for other things to do, and this hula hoop is going to be one of them. And Mike, who is not here, he must have something else going on this evening. But Mike sort of brought up I don't remember exactly what it was in the conversation, but it was him who the train of thought kind of went along, and I was like, yeah, I can do the hula hoop. Anyway. Yes, that's what I thought. I thought they were just very spiritual. I don't think that being Wiccan means that they like are evil or worship the devil. I think they're very spiritual and that they're in tune with nature and the way that natural forces work. I don't necessarily think it means that they're atheists, but I could be wrong. I have restless leg and it is constantly shaking. Oh, well, if you sang, then you could just, be doing that shake like Elvis. Shake it, shake it, shake it. Oh, yeah, you just returned from your walk. Well, see, I had a choice. I could be good and I could go for a walk, or I could do a live stream. And you saw what I decided to do. Oh, if you shake your arm at the same time and it registers on the Fitbit. And she's like, I'm in. I can do that. Nicole is on it. She's gonna do it. She's gonna do it. Oh, shake that hand. Shake that thing. Yeah. So Nicole, here's something. I don't think you were here when we were first talking about this, and anybody else who just signed in. I decided to Google heavy metal musicians who eat meat because I wanted to see if there was anybody out there who does. And do you want to know what search results I got? Now that I know how to present, I will show you what my search result is. And it is going to be very surprising. These are the search results I got for heavy metal musicians who eat meat. I got Taste the Unsacred Flesh, Veganism in Heavy Metal. I got 10 vegetarian metal bands that skip the turkey. 18 vegan musicians, singers, rappers, and heavy metal stars. So, yeah, they did not answer my question about heavy metal musicians who eat meat. That was not what I was asking. So I just found that interesting, and I'm going to use another search engine or two and see if the results are the same. But I just thought that I would share that with you. Anyway, that's just, that was very suspicious. Yeah, do no harm, believe in Mother Nature and Earth. Yeah, I can get along with them. I mean, I push the grocery store. Oh, man, really? So the step, that's terrible. Boy, sometimes when I go shopping with my daughter, we get in a lot of steps in the store. Gotten in steps sitting at my desk. Wow. You could make some money off of that secret. I put mine in my waistband when I push a cart around the supermarket. Google done and ghosted me. Yep, they did. They did. Because I was like, there's not one, not even one. I was like, this is crazy. And then I'm thinking, well, good Lord, maybe all these people that I think of as metal and cool and all that, they're not anti-establishment. They're not the rebels. I mean, hell, they're old now. They're part of the establishment. I mean, I'm still a rebel. But no, apparently they like, I don't know, change their grandbabies' diapers and stuff. I don't know, man, but it's like I was shocked. I was like, so there's not any heavy metal musicians out there who eat meat. Or maybe they just don't want to publicly admit it because they're afraid they'll get canceled or something. I mean, who knows? Maybe that's part of it. But it's just, I just thought that those results were a bit strange. Yes. Okay. Yesterday I did do a search. When I first found this was yesterday and I was on my phone and I did put carnivore and yeah, there's like, they've got some, I actually did a little bit of reading about that band. And actually, like, I would probably like them, but they would probably offend a lot of people. I would probably enjoy their music, but yeah, they talked about eating it and effing it, and yeah. Anyway, but yeah, so that was one reason too why I didn't put carnivore in, because that was all I got as the result of heavy metal musicians carnivore eating carnivore or something like that was what I put in the search, and all I got was stuff about that band. So then I put, okay, I was like, okay, how about heavy metal musicians who eat meat? And that's when I got vegans. Moving your arm while you're sitting there. We have strong arms. Yeah, movements. If we throw our fitness watches across the room, does that count as a step? Yes, it does. Yep, I say it does. It counts. Yes, and so, hey, let's give it a try. Let's do. Yep. So I will, and if you guys wanted, of course, I mean, I can't control what you do, haha, but I mean, I plan on using some other search engines to see if the results are the same. And if you by chance use like DDG or any of the others, wait a minute, I've got one that I can use. Let me see. I've got another browser another one that I can try. Let's see what we get. Wow, these results are even crazier. There's apparently a band called Cattle Decapitation. So, boy, I tell you, there's the so this is crazy. So I wonder, I mean, is it just because they're afraid to say that they eat meat, that they like it? They don't want to get canceled? Is that it? And so nobody admits that they eat meat? Or is it just that it's just being censored everywhere? I'm just curious. But yeah, so this is a band. Gosh, they were formed in 1996. The band called Cattle Decapitation. Wow, that's crazy. Oh my gosh. So yeah, I mean, this is Bing, so I mean, it's not gonna exactly. So, wow, too weird. It could be because a lot of people have other things to do besides talk about their diet choices. That is definitely possible. I mean, just because we do doesn't mean everybody does. I mean, this is true, and it may not even come up. It's just, I thought, though, in a sense, like, especially nowadays when people, when being vegan and vegetarian is so popular, I just figured, like, I could just imagine somebody being interviewed by Rolling Stone. And so they're like, yeah, and I eat meat. I eat nothing but meat. F them. F them, because I'm a rebel. I mean, so it's not even necessarily that they go around talking about it all the time, but it's just like, I would think that, or the paparazzi sees them at a restaurant and, dude's eating this big honking steak and no vegetables. I mean, yeah. Yeah, it sure looks that way. I mean, it's very disappointing. I did not read the articles that told me who was vegan, and maybe those are old articles, and maybe they have changed their minds since then. I don't know, but I don't want to know. It's just dog pile. I have not heard of dog pile. And yep, I agree with you. It is weird. It is weird. And yep, as we just said, we will definitely have to just stick with Dr. Barry and Jordan Peterson, because I don't know what. And I mean, Bob's got a good point. Carnivores aren't more circumspect, but don't feel the need to annoy people. And no, this is true. Well, I would say overall, I guess it's true. At the same time, it's like, this is the thing. I think a lot of people, because vegans, they'll tell everybody. They tell everybody what they eat. You don't even have to ask. I mean, there was a family friend, we shall say, that was vegetarian back when I was growing up. And this person would tell us all the time, anytime we went somewhere together, I'm vegetarian. I can't eat that. I can't eat. And we knew, but she would say it anyway. So I don't want to be like that. That was kind of like the point of one of the videos that I did before about, I don't want to be that person at a gathering or just whatever, the one that's a big pain in the butt. Well, we can't go there because Carrie can't eat that. So I think it's fair to, in other words, if a group is picking a restaurant, pick a place where everybody can eat something, where there's vegetables for the vegetarian and where there's meat for the meat eaters. But yeah, I just suspect that the real story is that perhaps the carnivores don't say much. That even if somebody says, like, well, what's your favorite food? Like, I mean, that's something that somebody might be asked in an interview. What's your favorite food? And so dude says ribeye, as an example, or wagyu. Well, they might end up, getting, next thing you know, there's crap all over social media and they're being canceled because they're animal killers and stuff. It's just, yeah, I don't bring it up in the rest of my life unless I'm asked either. I don't. Everybody that, like my friends, coworkers, everybody knows that I eat meat, but I don't talk about it like just all the time. I don't mention it. Like when I go out with friends and they'll say, well, what do you want to eat? And if I have a preference, I'll say, But sometimes I just don't really have a preference. And I'll just say any place as long as I can get me, a good, as long as they got meat. I mean, if they got burger patties, I'm in. I mean, I'm not that hard to please. Mmm. Now that sounds delicious. Eating a pound of salmon, says Susan E., with salt, herbs, and a lot of butter. And then low carb says, I think a lot of people keep it quiet because when they do mention, they get told they're going to die or have their arteries clog up. They get that, and then they also get called animal killers or they're heartless. Yeah, and exactly. Yeah, I don't. That's true, and that's a very valid point. Along with Nicole and Bob, both have very valid points that we are a little bit different in that we have YouTube channels and we interact with the tribe. A part of that, though, is because there are people out there in the real world, IRL, don't really understand, and we can't talk about it with other people. Because, like, when you think about it, like at work, for example, you're at work, and what's the thing, like along about 9:30, well, where are we going to go to lunch today? Well, I don't know. I heard that new Italian place down the street's good and blah, blah, blah. So people talk about food. Oh, have you tried that new Thai restaurant? Whatever. People talk about food a lot, but we can't really talk about food with most people because we don't eat what most people do. But most people do talk about food a lot. I don't know. It's just weird. I don't say anything about being carnivore, says Karen, just that I eat healthy. Yeah, I just say that I eat healthy, or I say that I cut out seed oils, processed foods, and inflammatory vegetables. That's what I say. Bob says, it rarely happens that I'm called an animal killer, but the one recent time someone brought that up, I talked about the millions of animals that are killed in commercial agriculture, and that is the truth, and that is something that they don't talk about. They don't talk about that at all. And truthfully, I haven't had any discussions with vegans or vegetarians. I really haven't. I don't know anyone in my personal life anymore who is especially like vegan. There is one person that is still, I know them, but I rarely see them, who is vegetarian. And so we haven't had any discussions about things like, about the slaughter of animals versus the farming and how that impacts habitats and animals. And so I guess I haven't arrived yet because I haven't had any vegan haters come on my channel either. Now I've probably talked them up. But at the moment, as of right now, I haven't had anybody that has posted anything hateful like you animal killer or anything, but that's subject to change without notice. So anyway, yeah, I think part of our thing is it's just skewed because we are this community that talks about it a lot, and because we can't talk about it with anybody else, and because we, especially those of us who have YouTube channels, we are immersed in it, because if we're not watching something, we're definitely working on our own content. And it's a lot to think about. I don't know. I just expected different search results. I just expected to see somebody out there say, yeah, I eat meat. What's your favorite meal? Steak. Okay, Bob says a 1,200 pound regeneratively raised cow will yield 750 pounds of beef. I eat 1.5 to 2 pounds a day. That's one life a year. Oh, yeah. Hey, you preaching to the choir here. I mean, I don't have statistics like that at the tip of my tongue that I can argue, although I have lots of sources that I can give to someone. I've read Lear Keith's book, for example. So while I don't have all that stuff memorized, I certainly know it. And I wouldn't have a problem having a discussion with someone, because even though I don't know the numbers, I do know that the farming does impact, like the soybeans and all that type of farming. It impacts animals' habitats, the wheat, all of it. I didn't think you did, Bob. I didn't think you ate kale. Yeah, that was one clarifying statement you did not have to make. And then B-Dog says the vegan haters were awful today on Homestead How. Maybe yesterday, but Adam tried so hard, but they kept coming. It was awful. Yeah, they're bad, and they will. I don't know if any of you all saw Christy of Meeting Wellness. She did an interview at an egg farm. They pasture raise their chickens and stuff, but she was talking about also just trying to set up interviews with people, and she was wanting to also talk with a regenerative farmer, and they initially didn't want to talk to her, and then only because they found out that her mother had taught one of their kids or something in school, that they were like, oh, well, okay, well, we'll let Christy come. And the reason why was because that they've had vegans to pose as interested in their operation and wanting to come talk to them and being potential customers, and then they end up basically harassing them. And that's terrible. It's like, you're not going to win friends that way. I know poop draws flies, but so does honey. I just don't think that you're going to, when you're mean and ugly to other people, you are not going to encourage them to join you. That is not a way to get someone to try your way of eating or to see your viewpoint. Then Carnivore says, I had someone come at me on one of my what I eat in a day videos, but maybe it was a bot. Oh, because the data was too scripted. I never said I don't eat plants on that one, just didn't that day. I don't know. Here's the thing, and we've talked about this before too. Sugar and carbs, all that stuff, we all know that it's terrible for humans. In the last 40 years has certainly shown us just how terrible it is. We've been told all this time that saturated fat is terrible for us. It's going to cause heart attacks, whatever. People need to know the truth. And once they know the truth, they need to make decisions themselves. So when we have some people in the carnivore, low carb space talking about we need to make sugar illegal and we need to impose a tax or we need to do this. Once people are truly informed, they just need to be able to make their own decisions, because once you open the door for making one thing illegal, the next thing you know, the whole foot comes through the door, and then they slide a hip in the door, and the next thing you know, they're outlawing meat, because when the changing of the guard happens. So it's like if they ever outlaw meat, they better watch out, because It could always turn the other way. Now, it may be harder because you've got the upper echelon, so to speak, the ruling class is behind this whole outlawing meat, fake meat thing. But it's just something to think about, though, because if you do open the door for, making this type of food illegal, it can make things a whole lot worse down the road. The trick is people need to know the truth, and they don't know the truth. They're still told that healthy whole grains are healthy. They're told that it's better to eat beans. They're told that Fruit Loops is better to give your kids than bacon and eggs for breakfast. That ain't crazy. The whole point is people are being told the wrong thing, and so they can't make an educated decision. But once they know the truth, then, it's, and then if they decide, then, okay, that's fine. That's you. You'll be living with the consequences. I've gotten dislikes, says the low carbist, on here with videos and shorts that specifically talk about meat. Yeah. Oh yeah, they are bad on both of those. Yes. Yes, and the shipping their fruits in from all over the world. I mean, hello, that doesn't hurt the carbon footprint, have a carbon footprint. I mean, yeah. Oh, Susan tells people that she only eats food that God packages, and the PCP said to eat real butter years ago. What's really funny is, like, I remember in the 80s, like late 80s and early 90s, and relatives, especially on my ex-husband's side of the family, relatives who were older, like great aunt and grandmother, refused to eat like margarine and stuff. Now, I'm not necessarily saying that everything that they ate was healthy, because they ate their share of breads and other stuff, but they were like, I'm not eating that mess. And they didn't eat margarine. They ate butter. And Keto Oregonian says people knew the truth. Well, people know the truth about cigarettes and still smoke, but that's their choice. And we always don't do what's best for us, because we are humans and we're tempted. We're just not perfect. We know better a lot of times, and we do it anyway. Now, we definitely are, especially the folks in our community. I think we are striving to do, I'm not going to say do better, but we're striving to be consistent in eating this way. But we are human, and we always don't do what's best for ourselves. I just think part of being free is being able to make your own decisions. And that's also part of the reason why, for example, like, I talk about being a rebel. Like, for example, I don't play the credit card game. I don't care about their points or their whatevers. I just choose not to engage in that. I don't borrow money for any reason, because I think that makes you a slave to the man. And that's just me. People, there again, need to be free to do whatever they want to do. But I'm just pointing out that for me, freedom is being able to make choices for yourself. So if the bank don't own you, now, I mean, granted, you have to pay property taxes if you own your house. I get that. I'm just saying, though, that the fewer chains that you have around you, whether they're literal or figurative chains, you are more relaxed and you are calmer. So it's just something to think about. So if we have food freedom, we're free, in terms of our medical issues. Like say we used to have medical issues and now we don't, whether it's diabetes, eczema, whatever it might be. We're free of that. We're free to eat what we want, make our own choices. And then we don't owe anybody any money. And so, that makes for a pretty good life if you think about it. When a kid acts out in store, says Karen, I want to ask the parent so bad what their child have for breakfast. Yeah. Here's the thing too, man. Back in the day, it'd be like, no, you're not eating any sugar. You're going to be going to bed or just whatever. So everybody knew. It was like it was common knowledge. I mean, back when I was a kid and even like into the 90s, it was just common knowledge you didn't give kids sugar. And my mother refused to get like what she called sugary cereals. Now, granted, we'd get cornflakes and stuff, but I mean, she wouldn't allow any of that stuff that had the sugar-coated stuff on it. The marshmallows and all that. Nope. Offshore manufacturing is bad for the environment. Yes, it is. Oh, okay. So low carb says, yes, we had my daughter on a special diet when she was little for ADHD, basically limiting specific ingredients. It was an amazing improvement. And then Susan E. says, English ingredients used to be so good, but they eat so much fast food now, way faster than they used to be. They don't eat GMOs or give steroids to their animals. That's good, at least. Hi. Yes. My hula hoop still hasn't gotten here yet, Christy. In case anybody was wondering who this is Christy with Beating Wellness, and we are going to be doing a hula hoop challenge. I don't know exactly what the challenge, like how many, whether it's going to be minutes, hours that we hula hoop, or just how we're going to structure this. But yes, we are going to have a challenge, and I am looking forward to it. I just still haven't gotten my hula hoop yet. Otherwise, I would have shown it to you. And Christy, I would have told you. Keto Oregonian says, I wish my parents had not allowed all that sugar back in the 60s and 70s. I wasn't fat yet, but I was sure addicted early on. Yeah. This is sort of like how I used to think about pet food. I didn't realize that pet food was sold that was bad for pets. Now, I know this sounds stupid, but I'm thinking, well, that they sell it in the store and they talk about how good it is and that pets love it. So, but then as I started looking into like low carb and all of that stuff, and then I started realizing, oh my gosh, this is the same thing with animals as it is with people. And I felt terrible because I did give my cat Fancy Feast and people said he was just spoiled, but I didn't like get him the cheapest stuff, and he always ate the soft food, but I did get him hard food too. And I now know that he should never have eaten any of that other stuff. And so, I mean, he eats mostly what I call his stinky fish, which is like chunks of fish and shrimp. I mean, it's Fancy Feast, but I mean, that's what you see what the ingredients are, and he loves that stuff. So the whole point is we don't always know. You kind of think naively in your youth, especially, or when you're a young parent or whatever, you just think, well, they wouldn't sell it if it was that bad, but they do. Yeah, Christy, I know. I remember you saying that yours was due to come yesterday, and I knew mine wasn't supposed to come until today, but I figured that it would be here by now, but it is not. I knew what you meant. Oh, and you're going to unbox it for video. Yep, that's what I'm going to do too. I'm going to unbox it. All right. Oh, yes. Yeah. Okay. And I know, let's see. Oh, yeah. Dr. Barry's probably getting ready to go live. So I'm going to go ahead and sign off for the evening. I'm glad you all spent the evening with me today. And I just love and appreciate all of you. You are such a great community. I truly look at you all as family and friends. So I'm just so happy that you were here and that I didn't have to sit and talk to myself. So you guys take care, and I will see you the next time. Bye, everybody.